Good evening. Welcome to South Asia Newsline. I'm Gitasha Sharma. Here are the top stories we are tracking for you on Wednesday, the 29th of March. Indian Navy de-inducts patrol aircraft after serving for 29 years. Dhaka University students protest against rising terrorism in Bangladesh. And Hindu devotees visit temples to mark New Year celebrations in parts of southern India. And now for all the details. The Indian Navy on Wednesday de-inducted the long-range maritime patrol aircraft after 29 years of service in southern Chennai city. It was de-inducted at a special ceremony held at a premier naval air station in the city.
The Indian Navy on Wednesday de-inducted long-range maritime patrol aircraft Tu-142M in southern Chennai city. The Russian-made aircraft that was inducted in 1988 was bid adieu by the Navy, including Chief Admiral Sunil Lamba at a ceremony about 55 miles from Chennai. The de-induction marked the end of the aircraft's illustrious 29 years long career with the Indian Navy.
Today, while we formally de-induct the aircraft, the squadron should be rightly proud of itself for its extraordinary contributions.
During its service life, the aircraft has undergone several modifications to keep up with the ever-developing and changing technology, and also to fulfill the requirements of the Indian Navy.
However, in a larger sense, this event also marks a credible transition and a conceptual transformation in the arena of maritime reconnaissance. The squadron and the legacy of the Albatross will be inherited by the P-8I aircraft.
The role of the Tu-142M will now be taken by the newly inducted P-8I aircraft, which has already proved its mettle within a short period of time. It has been effectively integrated into the operational grid of the Navy. The aircraft is a force multiplier and the most potent anti-submarine platform that the Navy possesses today.
Moving on to news from Nepal, Indian Chief of Army General Bipin Rawat arrived on a 4-day visit to Kathmandu on Tuesday to receive the honorary general title of the Nepal Army. On his arrival, Rawat met with his Nepali counterpart General Rajendra Chhetri, who had invited him for the official visit. A special program was organized at the residence of the President of Nepal, where Rawat was conferred the title by President Bidya Devi Bhandari on Wednesday. He is expected to meet Nepal Prime Minister Pushpa Kamal Dahal during his Kathmandu stay. General Rawat is also scheduled to visit the Indian Army pension camp in Pokhara to address ex-Gorkhas and the Pashupatinath temple. Meanwhile, exiled Kashmiri leaders and human rights activists raised the issue of denial of basic rights to the people of Pakistan-administered Kashmir and Gilgit-Baltistan. They were speaking on the sidelines of 34th session of the United Nations Human Rights Commission in Geneva. A report.
The basic tenets of freedom of speech and expression are applicable to all human beings universally. However, exiled Kashmiri leaders presented an opposing picture of the illegally occupied territories of Pakistan-administered Kashmir and Gilgit-Baltistan. They were speaking at a conference in Geneva on the sidelines of the 34th session of the United Nations Human Rights Council, or UNHRC.
Pakistan-administered Kashmir is supposed to be a self-governing state. It really has remained a colony of Islamabad, with Pakistan's central government taking all decisions. Over the years, apart from a total lack of development and basic political rights, the people of so-called Azad Kashmir and Gilgit-Baltistan have suffered from basic human rights abuses, largely carried out by the Pakistan Army and
The conference also dwelled on the fact of how the voice of locals is being trampled upon by the all-powerful Pakistan government. Activists allege the Pakistani establishment has continued to deny basic rights to the locals of the disputed territories, and those who raise their voices are subjected to arrests, forced disappearances and killings.
In news from Bangladesh, university students in Bangladesh capital Dhaka took out a massive protest rally to protest against the rising incidents of terror attacks in the country. The students heavily condemned the radicalists for spreading terror in the country.
Thousands of Dhaka University students came out on the streets to protest against rising terrorism in the country. The protest was organized by the Bangladesh Students' League against the fundamentalists and Islamist extremists. Students highlighted that education was a way forward to end the rising cases of locals joining the militant groups in Bangladesh.
They are joining to these groups only for getting a better life and a better lifestyle, I think so. But if we try to create awareness among the people and by proper education, we can also change the situation in our country. Again, the security in our country is not so developed. As a result, terrorist groups are targeting this country to show their activities to the whole world.
The South Asian country of 160 million people has seen a string of attacks in the past years, the deadliest on July 1 when gunmen stormed a cafe killing 22 people, most of them foreigners. Though the Islamic State had claimed responsibility for the attack, it was carried out by a local terror group and all the militants were Bangladeshis.
Moving on to news from Pakistan, Pakistan's Interior Minister says social media platform has agreed to address concerns raised by his government over blasphemous content on its platform.
Interior Minister Chaudhry Nisar Ali Khan on Tuesday told journalists that Pakistan has been assured by a social media giant that its concerns about blasphemous content would be addressed and a delegation will come to Pakistan to discuss the issue with the government. Last week, Khan had warned that the strongest of measures would be taken against social media companies that failed to take action against online blasphemy and had requested a meeting.
पहली दफा फेसबुक ने बहुत पॉजिटिवली रिस्पॉन्ड किया. उनके वाइस प्रेसिडेंट का कल ही मुझे खत आया और इसमें उन्होंने बहुत सी अच्छी बातें की.
He added, 62 websites have been blocked during the last few months and 45 websites in the past 2 to 3 days. At least 65 people, including lawyers, defendants and judges, have been murdered in Pakistan over blasphemy allegations since 1990, according to figures from a Center for Research and Security Studies report and local media.
News from Afghanistan. As the spring fighting season fast approaches, Afghanistan's elite special forces units are fine-tuning their unique skills needed to fight the Taliban and Islamic State. They are in combat training mode and officials hope to double the troop numbers over the next few years.
Currently numbering around 17,000, Afghanistan's special forces have been carrying out nearly 70% of the army's offensive operations from Helmand in the south to Kunduz in the north, sometimes cooperating with the US counterparts in specialized counter-terrorism operations. Afghanistan's international allies regularly praise the performance of the special forces, but there has also been concern that their continuous operations risks placing them under too much strain.
زیاد شده اما ما ادامه میتیم با ما عملیات خود قسم گذشته با ما کدام مشکل ایجاد نکرده همه چیز ما تو پروگرام ما منظم پیش میره و عملیات ها از درست و هر نوع عملیات باشه آماده هستیم وظایف خود اجرا میکنیم.
More than 2 years on from the departure of most international troops, Afghan forces have struggled to contain the growing Taliban insurgency. They now control just 57% of the country compared with 72% a year ago, according to estimates quoted by Special Inspector General for Afghanistan Reconstruction, a congressional oversight body.
قطعات کماندوی ما باید نیرومندتر شود، سلاح و مهمات و وسایل جدید باید بگیرن و د عامو وسایطی را که ضرور است باید برش داده شود. بالای از این کار جریان داره و چیزی که ضرور است همون کار میشه برای قطعات کماندوی.
At the Special Forces base, coalition trainers still maintain their oak compound, with both soldiers and civilian contractors helping to oversee the training. The coalition is still trying to help the conventional Army Corps become more effective and relieve some of the pressure on the more elite units, a US military spokesperson said.
Hindus in parts of southern India on Wednesday celebrated Yugadi, which marks the onset of their new year, by holding special prayers. It is one of the most prominent festivals, which means the start of an era.
One of the prominent festivals of southern India, Yugadi, which means the start of an era, is celebrated on the first day of the Hindu month of Chaitra. On Wednesday, devotees paid obeisance to the idol of goddess Vasvi Kanyaka Parameshwari in Bengaluru city of southern Karnataka province to seek blessings. In temples, offerings of a mixture of jaggery, neem and other food items were distributed among devotees.
And in our temple, we have decorated our goddess Vasavi Kanika Parameshwari with flowers, neem, fruits, because this is the beginning of the year where the fresh farmers grow these fruits, grow these vegetables, flowers, everything newly, and this is what it represents.
The day begins with a ritual bath followed by prayers and then eating of a specific mixture of neem flowers, raw mango, tamarind juice, green chili, jaggery and ripe banana pieces and a pinch of salt. It is believed that the mixture symbolizes life, which is a mixture of different experiences comprising sadness, happiness, anger, fear, disgust and surprise, which should be accepted together and with equanimity. Meanwhile, in Hyderabad city in southern Telangana province, hundreds of devotees gathered at temples to attend special prayers on the occasion.
Well, that's the way it was in South Asia this evening. Before we conclude, the top stories once again. Indian Navy de-inducts patrol aircraft after serving for 29 years. Dhaka University students protest against rising terrorism in Bangladesh. And Hindu devotees visit temples to mark New Year celebrations in parts of southern India. Now our viewers can watch the show on SouthAsiaNewsline.com. You can also visit us on Facebook.com/SAsiaNewsline and follow us on Twitter @SAsiaNewsline. That's all in tonight's edition. We'll see you same time tomorrow. Good night.